Hello, my crafty friends. Well, today I have a simple fun fold card idea to share with you, and I have two different ways you can use this fun fold in your card making. Hi, it's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. In this episode of Stamptastic TV, I have two different ways that you can use this hinge fold card design in your card making. Now, this is a super simple fun fold card idea, and the best part about it is when we create the fun fold section, we actually will be using up all the scraps, so you'll have no leftover scrap pieces from creating this fun fold card. Now, the cards in this video feature the Apple Harvest stamp set from Stampin Up, and I will also be featuring some of the new Apple Blossom dies. So this particular die set is brand new, and it's part of the Perfect Partners promotion during the month of September. So this die set will only be available this month while supplies last. So be sure to get your hands on this one because it's just an absolutely gorgeous die set. Okay, so let me show you how to make this fun fold card. Okay, so this is what the little hinge fold looks like. It's just creating this little hinge here on the side with this piece of cardstock that we're going to cut off the front of our card base. So it's just a really simple fun fold, and there's just so many different ways that you can use this in your card making. So let me show you how to create it. I'm going to create it in portrait style first, and then I will show you the landscape style. So you're going to start with a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece of cardstock. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to score it in the middle at 4.25 inches. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to cut off a 1.5 inch piece. So that's what I have here. So this is going to be the base of your cards. And then the cool thing about this design is that you can take this little 1.5 inch wide piece. So it's 1.5 by 5.5. So you're just going to score this piece at 4.25 inches to create this little hinge section. All right, so those are your two pieces. So you have your card base and then you have your little hinge piece. So now we're ready to assemble the card. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add this hinge to my card base. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on this section on this side of that score line. And then we're just going to adhere it right across the bottom of the card. Now you can adhere this anywhere you want. You can adhere it to the bottom like I am. You can adhere it across the middle, the top. The possibilities really are endless, but I'm going to put it towards the bottom simply because of what I'm using to decorate my card. Okay, so here is my hinge. It's all adhered to the right side of my card. So what I'm going to do is just open up my card base, and I'm going to be adhering this piece on the inside. So this is just a 4 by 5.25 inch piece of white cardstock. And then I have a 1 3/4 by 5.25 inch piece of designer paper. So I'm going to adhere this designer paper on the right side of my white cardstock. All right, so once you have your paper adhered to the right side of this white cardstock, we're just gonna go ahead and adhere this on the inside of our card. So this will just help cover up that little hinge that we created, and it'll help keep this in place so you're not just relying on that little bit of glue that we added. So it's kind of like double reinforcement, and it also is a super decoration for your fun fold card. Okay, so now that we have all of our pieces in place, we can go ahead and finish decorating it. So the first thing I did is I created this little die cut piece. So I stamped this image using that Apple Harvest stamp set, and then I just colored it in with a variety of different Stampin' blends. And so this is going to be my focal point right above this hinge. So we will just add this right up here, and I just popped it up with a few dimensionals. Now, if you want to know all the colors and things that I use, be sure to download the printable tutorial. It has all that information in it. The next thing I did is just cut a 1 1/4 by 4 inch piece of Blushing Bride cardstock. And this is going to go right on our little hinge piece here. And I just embossed it with the time-worn type embossing folder. You can use any embossing folder that you have on hand. The next thing I did is just use one of the dies from the new Apple Blossoms die set, and I stamped this greeting and then of course cut it out with the coordinating die. And then I adhered a little bit of vellum behind this piece. So this is just a 3/4 by 3-inch piece of vellum. So I'm going to just add that right on the back here. So I'm just going to add that right across this piece. So this little hinge part makes a great place for your greeting or your sentiment. So that's where I added that. And then I just cut out a few more pieces using that Apple Blossoms die. So I stamped this little floral image and just colored it in with some Stampin' Blends. And then I cut out these leaves from a piece of Granny Apple Green cardstock. And so I'm just going to add these right to my card front here. So I have a few dimensionals on the back of all of these die cuts. So I'm just going to kind of tuck these die cuts in here with that dimensional. And then we'll go ahead and add a couple of pearls to our little florals here. And that's really it. So that is the hinge fold. So this is the portrait style. And then the other thing I did is just add a little bit of twine over here on the side. So as you can see, I can tuck my hinge underneath there to keep it closed. So the twine actually serves as a little closure for my card. Okay, so this next card idea is just basically the exact same design. So you'd create the card base the exact same way. The only difference is instead of decorating it in portrait style, you know, my little hinge was down here when I was in portrait style, I'm going to decorate it in landscape style. So it's the same cutting process, the exact same measurements for the card base. I just decorated it differently, that's all. So for this one, I actually added all of my little focal points right on a die cut shape, the square shape, and I adhered that to my hinge. So when you open this up, this is what the card looks like. So portrait style or landscape style. There's just lots of possibilities with this particular card design. Okay, so there you go. Now you have two different ways to use this hinge fold in your card making. And if you enjoyed these card ideas, feel free to download the printable tutorial. You can find the link in the description below this video. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by liking it and sharing it with your friends. And leave me a comment below to let me know what you enjoyed most about the video and the cards shared here today. Have a fun and creative day, my friends. Take care.